In interviews recently, you've said that you both said that you want people to be confused when they hear your music, but you want it to be accessible at the same time.
Well, yeah, I think maybe that's why we're getting so many bad reviews.
When MGMT decided to mock modern pop music, they unknowingly crafted 3 hit tracks that would soon propel them to fame.
I'm feeling rough, I'm feeling wrong in the time of my life. Shock me like an electric eel. Show yourself, take only what you need from it.
They were signed to a major label who released their debut record, which went on to sell millions and garner them a pair of Grammy nominations. But when it came time to follow up their debut, MGMT chose to stay true to their progressive rock roots, resulting in an experimental album with no radio-friendly singles. A decision that was met with mixed reactions and resulted in poor commercial performance for the album, leaving fans and critics questioning if the band had purposely self-sabotaged their own success. So, did they? MGMT, the duo consisting of Andrew Van Weingarten and Ben Goldwasser, met in college and bonded over their love of psychedelic music. They started creating electronic loops in their dorm rooms and eventually wrote pop songs Kids and Time to Pretend as jokes, even calling themselves the management to mock the corporate side of the music industry. But those tracks caught the attention of Columbia Records, who offered them a record deal. Initially hesitant, the duo ultimately decided to take the opportunity and recorded their debut album, Oracular Spectacular.
Let's make some music, make some money, find some models for wives.
MGMT's debut was a hit, snagging Grammy nominations for Best New Artist and Best Pop Performance, and selling over 1 million copies. But behind the scenes, the band had mixed feelings about their success.
We've come to realize what MGMT means to a lot of people through...
It means something really lame in a lot of respects.
Yeah. We've been associated with some things that we really hate. Electronic indie pop.
A lot of people are disappointed when they meet us.
They had originally begged their label not to include Kids on the album, and Time to Pretend had been given a radio-friendly rework. Despite these reservations, the album's big 3 singles have achieved legendary status, going on to rack up over 1.5 billion streams on Spotify. But by contrast, the album's other 7 tracks have only 140 million streams combined, showcasing the latter half's decline in momentum and that a large portion of listeners failed to explore the band's more experimental and non-radio friendly tunes.
I feel like we kind of got dubbed as like these partying, kind of drug-abusing, airheaded hipster dudes, and
Why would
some of
people
those
think
things
that?
are true.
So while the band may have become associated with the indie pop sounds of those initial singles, they weren't the best representation of the band's true identity, despite their popularity and success. Songs like Fourth Dimensional Transition and Of Moons, Birds, and Monsters are likely better signifiers of MGMT's true style, but clearly don't have as much mainstream appeal. MGMT's sophomore album, Congratulations, would be a bold move for the band, as they decided to stay true to their progressive rock roots despite the pressure to conform to commercial expectations. Further, the album was produced by Pete Kember of Spacemen 3, who helped the band delve deeper into their psychedelic sound. One of the standout tracks that's working is a warning about the dangers and emptiness of drug usage, particularly ecstasy. The song perfectly represents the album as a whole, with its fast-paced sound that reflects the isolating feeling of being on the drug. Don't do drugs.
But it's working in your blood.
Another noteworthy track, Flash Delirium, addresses the theme of societal and personal disillusionment, and the use of drugs, alcohol, and other distractions as a way to deal with the feeling of being trapped in a meaningless existence. It's deep. The song references Facebook and directly addresses the effects of social networking. And this was in 2010. Instagram and Snapchat weren't even out yet.
Timeless desperation, pictures on a screen, hey people.
Siberian Breaks is a 12-minute, multi-layered, and complex song that reflects on the world and the struggles we face as we try to make sense of it all. This track deserves a video on its own, so I made one. Today we're going to be looking at Siberian Breaks by MGMT, widely considered their magnum opus. We're going to react to the track, and then Future Frank is going to dive into the lyrics and kind of try to decipher exactly what this track is saying. What is that? It's a funky instrument. In Secrets to Decode Part 1, MGMT talks about the elusive and hidden truths in the world. You can check out my Siberian Breaks breakdown on Nebula. my streaming service. This is where my creative friends and I get together to have fun and experiment with unique content that you won't find anywhere else. So if you're looking for something fresh and new, I highly recommend giving Nebula a try. For just a little over $3 a month, you'll get access to future track breakdowns, my Significantly Different series, and a whole bunch of cool content from other creators. Check it out at nebula.tv/middle8. I'll also link it at the end of the video.
It was going to be kind of more consistently one style or something, and then, I would be like, Ben, you got to hear this Cambodian disco song that I found, and he'd be like, oh yeah, you got to hear this, Christian death song. And it's like, all of a sudden we find ourselves like, we have to incorporate all these different references into our music.
The album also includes 2 tributes to British musician and producer Brian Eno and legendary post-punk frontman Dan Tracy. Brian Eno is a track recorded in the band's Brooklyn apartment and describes the narrator's experience of visiting a cathedral and discovering the sounds he hears are produced by Brian Eno. Song for Dan Tracy is an upbeat track that paints a picture of Tracy as a misunderstood artist, highlighting his struggles with drug addiction and volatility in his career, but also praising his determination to overcome them and make a mark in the music industry.
It just felt right to make, some of the songs just about musicians and this life.
You think it's an odd career?
Yeah, I think so. I think some people are natural born entertainers and performers, and I don't necessarily think we are. I think we love making music, but, in terms of touring all the time and, like, being festival headliners, we're not the kind of people that go out. Ben usually doesn't even say a single word during a show.
No.
Then there's something like Lady Dada's Nightmare, which is an eerie and unsettling instrumental track that is a nod to the Dada art movement, which was known for its absurdity and irrationality.
Bravery by releasing a quote-unquote, somebody said, uncommercial record on a major label.
Well, it ain't uncommercial if it's number 2 on the Billboard charts.
There you go.
I don't know. Just stop analyzing everything. Just listen to it or don't listen to it.
You don't consider it uncommercial?
No. Maybe like I don't think Lady Dada's Nightmare is going to be on Gossip Girl.
The title track, Congratulations, delves into the complexities of success and fame, reflecting on the band's own skepticism and guilt about their success, and how they were able to continue making music despite it all.
Hardly sink or swim when all is well if the ticket sells.
The song's commentary on the superficiality of success and the emptiness that it brings is particularly poignant and relatable, making it a standout track on the album.
All I need's a great big congratulations.
There isn't a song on the album that's the same kind of immediately accessible single as Kids or Time to Pretend or something that's more electronic and dancey and, would be more at home, in a DJ set or something like that.
MGMT wanted to take listeners on a journey through music with deeper themes and emotions, leaving them with a sense of awe and appreciation for their creativity and musical prowess. The goal was never to make mass-appealing pop songs. They were merely incorporating more imagination into their work. However, not all imaginative ideas translate into successful sales.
And really, it's kind of like a lose-lose situation. Like, if we had made an album that sounded like Kids and Time to Pretend, Electric Feel, and people would have been like, oh, these guys are so,
Right.
unoriginal. They're just trying to bank in on their singles. And then, if we do something that kind of departs from that sound, then people are like, they're trying to lose their fan base. So I don't know. Ideally, we want people to like listen to the whole album and be like, what the hell was that? That was kind of, I feel like vomiting, but I also have to listen to it again right now.
You're being sarcastic, though.
No.
Right?
Well, I guess I don't really want people to actually vomit in front of me because I think that's gross.
But thank you, Andrew.
When MGMT released Congratulations in 2010, it sparked mixed reactions. Some fans and critics were let down by its lack of pop hits and departure from the band's debut sound. However, others praised the album's originality and ambition. Despite the divide, MGMT clarified that the album was not a calculated attempt to sabotage their success, but rather a reflection of their evolving musicianship and individuality.
The second album that we made was like definitely in some ways a reaction to the quick buzz from our first album, but it wasn't trying to like sabotage our careers.
When Ben and Andrew were signed to Columbia Records, they made it clear that they had no interest in repeating the same formula. They were still writing Congratulations in 2008, off of the success of their first album and their naivete from college. So they had a bit of a tough realization that not everyone would go along with whatever they made as a band that had reached a certain level of fame.
We felt a little bit kind of misunderstood, but I think we were kind of like labeled as a electro-pop duo, and we've never identified with one certain style of music, and so we just wanted to make a album that we felt kind of was a more accurate representation of the music that we listen to.
In 2009, during an interview with Q Magazine, MGMT expressed uncertainty about the quality of their upcoming album, Congratulations. Jokingly, they mentioned that it might turn out to be terrible. However, the magazine ran a headline claiming that the band had referred to the album as terrible, leading to false speculation that they were intentionally sabotaging their success.
We were trying to be as honest as possible doing press for this album and trying not to be sarcastic or ironic or whatever, and then inevitably it's like the one, sarcastic comment we make that gets blown out of proportion, taken literally, and that's what people focus on. Or
So then we decided to go back to our old strategy of just being sarcastic all the time.
Yeah. Are you being sarcastic with you right now?
I don't know. I don't even know anymore.
The band clarified that the album was a personal and artistic reflection, unlike anything they had ever created before. So it sparked the debate on whether it's more important for an artist to stay true to themselves or to conform to commercial expectations for success. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.
I think part of it is like, if you get to that level where like you're making pop songs that people are listening to, like why wouldn't you just keep doing that? I think some people were actually angry that we wasted an opportunity.
Because like Ben said, people hear something and then they just want that again. But we're not gonna ever do that. So we'll always disappoint some people, I'm sure.
In the end, MGMT's Congratulations may not have been the commercial success that Oracular Spectacular was, but it allowed the band to prove themselves as artists who were not going to be so easy to categorize or fit into any specific sound or style. But the album's reception had still given them the freedom to do whatever they wanted and continue to evolve as musicians and individuals, eventually crafting what I think is their best record to date, Little Dark Age. I talk about how it revived the band's spirit in the video on the left, or you can watch the breakdown of Siberian Breaks on Nebula on the right. Now, both links below. Subscribe.